Hey, Fenua, we've got a question that's come through the website, and we get asked this a lot. Um, and the question goes, what is consumer-directed care? Because we hear that all the time, but exactly what is it?
Yeah, absolutely. You do hear it all the time, and it's one of those little acronyms that pepper through everything. But in this case, it's a really powerful statement. It's a short for consumer directed care. It's something that really is the government's reflection that you know what your needs are more than anyone else. So as a consumer, I know what I need, what's important to me, what matches my values, what lines up with my expectation of how I want to live my life. And I know that the best. My doctor may be able to give me information that supports my decision making, but I know what I'm prepared to do or not prepared to do. So previous to this model of care, so all home care packages are delivered under a consumer-directed care model. Previous to this, what would happen is that you would be assessed as needing a home care package. The provider would come out, they'd sit with you, they'd have a conversation with you, they'd come up with a care plan, and they would take a lot more control and power in driving what sort of services that you may receive. And they would traditionally look like, nursing care, domestic care, engagement, that kind of thing. So very much the doing kind of things, cleaning your house, assisting with your showering, providing nursing care for medical needs, that kind of thing. All very important, all still needed in this new model, but I might put that as a lower rating than being really connected with my community. And I might want that my package provide that I can actually still keep going to my gardening club or something like that, as opposed to cleaning my bathroom. So you've got a lot more control now as a consumer as to where you spend your money. Like I say, healthcare providers and organisations can give you recommendations, but ultimately, you know what you need to live your best version of you, no matter what your age is. And that will look completely different for everybody. And this is about just handing that power back to the consumer. So you are afforded a lot of control under the Act and as part of the quality principles of delivering aged care. Unfortunately, sometimes that's not everybody's lived experience. So often people will just go with the flow, and if the provider says, you need this and you need this, and we can do this and it will cost you that, and people tend to just take the path of least resistance, right? But it's important that you know your rights under the system.
Mm-hmm. So it's also important too, Finn, I'd imagine that, with consumer-directed care, or CDC as an acronym, people needs and wants will change. So I'd imagine that this designing your own care can be quite flexible, so you can change things as you go. But also, I'd also imagine that it's really important to keep your future needs in sight as well. Yeah.
Yeah, spot on. Absolutely, it is very flexible, so you can change it more or less at any time, and that will depend a little bit on the rules within your package as to how much lead-in time and what the change actually is. And planning ahead is always best. We really strongly advocate people to sort of live very much in the present, but be thoughtful and mindful of what might come up in the future. That can be a little bit like gazing into a crystal ball with some components of aging, but a lot of things you can fairly easily extrapolate from your current situation. So yeah, it is important, and especially when packages aren't necessarily released to match your need right here and now. So often you need to be quite strategic in, well, I've got this amount of resource, but I actually need a much larger amount of resource. And there's things that I need that to do for me. So I need to be quite mindful how I'm using what I have now, because there's a bigger goal at the end. And sometimes you just need to really put some thought into that, because it's not always obvious.
Yeah. I suppose that'd be even relevant, more relevant when you talk about home care packages and wait times. You know, some people are waiting 12 months, 2 years for these packages to come through, and things change a lot over that time. And as you know, in care, things can change overnight. So,
absolutely, yeah.
Great. Good answer, Fenna. Thank you so much for taking the time to explain that to us.